Anandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, everybody. So before couple of weeks ago, we saw the portion where Bhagwan gives gives the secret of creation. So he says, Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Saja, under my supervision, with my permission, with my blessings, Prakriti is the one that creates this entire world of inert and sentient beings, Characha, the one moving and unmoving. That is what it means. So those who are moving, those who are unmoving, so inert and sentient, it is and Hetu Nanina, and because of Prakriti, this world is going around. And the reason, what does it mean because of Prakriti? Prakriti, please understand, is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Prakriti and these three gunas are synonyms. So Prakriti is Sattva, Rajas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and it is these three gunas that are keeping this world going. So every single action requires all three, and that is what is meant by Prakriti is the one that is keeping this world going. The gunas, it is the gunas that keeps this world going. This is what Bhagwan, that is that, but everything is happening by his command. Prakriti is inert by herself, by itself. Prakriti is inert. She cannot create unless he, because in the previous verse he says, I'm the father and the mother. So I plant the seed. Okay. And that doesn't mean like in normal terms. What it means is I empower Prakriti to create, and then she can create. Then there are some people who disregard this. They disregard my presence in all the beings. Because of his command, Prakriti has created. Prakriti is coming from him. So anything that comes from Prakriti has Prakriti as well as has him. This is the idea, because in the effect, cause will always be there. That's why we see in the world these three gunas in action. The gunas cannot be seen by themselves, but the principle of knowledge, the principle of dynamism, and the principle of inertness or laziness, procrastination, all that is tamas. So these are the three gunas. These are the manifestations of these three gunas. And that's why we presume that these gunas are there. And because they are in the cause, they will always be in the effect. So this, the foolish people don't know. Foolish here doesn't mean they're uneducated or anything, but they don't believe. Param Bhava, they don't know my higher being, because they are very extroverted and their attention is only on the names and forms. And so there is disrespect means disregard. See, if I told you last time, if somebody comes to my house and I just totally ignore them and I'm just on my phone or just watching TV, then it's as well as I've disrespected them. So this is Avajananti's disregard, because of which there is disrespect. Means they don't even know that I am existing. I am within them. And that is what they do. And now how does it manifest? See, if I don't know that I am that existence, now God means don't understand God to be some form inside. The principle of existence, the principle of consciousness, and the principle of bliss. So these three principles, that is what actually God is. So how do I disregard these principles? Is by being afraid of death. Because if I know that I'm eternal existence, why I should be afraid of death? Then knowledge, how do I disregard the principle of consciousness, is by being ignorant of my real nature. It is not knowledge of the world or knowledge of something outside. It is the knowledge that I am none other than God himself. So when I disregard that, I have disrespected the principle of consciousness. That is what this means. Not like I'm disregarding, some form, and not like that. And Ananda I disregard because I'm constantly miserable. Jiva is something or the other is there that causes us misery. It's unfortunate. But we need to remind ourselves it's hard, not easy. But at least if we know that, then sometimes that will get us out of our misery. Then in 12, he says that this mogha asha, mogha karma, and mogha jnana, mogha in vain. So vain, mogha is vain, mogha asha, asha hope. What is a vain hope? The vain hope is that I will get happiness from the outside world. That is the most vain hope that one can have. And that is constantly what we are doing. We are expecting happiness from the external world, people, situations, objects, and we do get, there are moments of pleasure that we have, but then they go away. So that's why it becomes vain. Means vain for the ultimate happiness, they are no good. That is what is. Mogha karmana is what? Doing karma with doership. So that is a vain karma. Why? Because, that is giving me again another vasana for the next birth. I'm creating vasanas for my next birth. So the whole idea of getting moksha is I'm going far and far away from that by doing karma with doership and enjoyship. So mogha karma, that karma which is done with doership is in vain. So what I should do, I should avoid that now. If it is, when Bhagavan is saying it is, what is the takeaway for me? Suppose if Bhagavan is saying this asha is vain, in vain, the hope is in vain, then I must not expect any happiness from the outside world. Karma, I should try to do it as karma yoga as far as possible. Remind ourselves, that is the whole purpose of this teaching. So takeaway for us is very important. Like, how do I apply this in my life, right? Application of the knowledge. Knowledge has got two aspects. One is, of course, the teaching, the information, but then there is the application as well. When we go to science, we have the theory, physics, chemistry, biology, then we have to go to the lab and actually do those experiments that we read in the book. So the lab for us is this whole entire world. Our interactions with people, interactions with situations, interactions with whatever that is coming to us. That is our lab. And that's where we need to test our knowledge. How established am I in this knowledge? Mogha jnana. So the knowledge is in vain. Knowledge of anything external is in vain. Vichetasa, viveka shunya. We is without here, vigata. So chetasa means without intellect. Without intellect doesn't mean that he has intellect, but that intellect is not discriminating between the self and the not self. So that means, so the discrimination is not there. Doesn't mean that he may be very rich, he may be very successful in life, he may be having a whole high position. That is not what is meant here by Vichetasa. Okay. And these, why is this happening? Why are these people doing? Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva. Their Prakriti is Asuri or Rakshasi, which is Rajas and Tamas. So in humans, mainly this is Rajas and Tamas is more in us than Sattva. So we have to actually work at developing Sattvic tendencies. So this is their Prakriti. This here Prakriti means this is their Swabhava, their nature. They are predominance of Rajas and Tamas is there. And because of that, see, what happens is, when there's predominance of Rajas, what is Rajas? Rajas is activity, principle of activity. How do we know? So the person is very dynamic, but the problem is that dynamism is only for like, what will I get? How do I go ahead in life? How do I make more money? How do I get? That is what is driving that activity. That dynamism is being driven by selfishness. And that's why then it becomes Moga Asha. So because why does he want a higher position, more money? He thinks I will be happy like that. So that hope is Moga, vain. then the karma is, because he's not doing karma yoga, he's only doing it for myself. What will I get? What will I get? What will I get? So that karma becomes moga. And the jnana, okay, he has got great knowledge about the external world, like how to climb up the ladder, whatever he has got, right? But he doesn't realize that happiness is within himself. So therefore, his knowledge also becomes vain. That is how this works. Rakshasyam and Asuri, tamasic only. So they don't even, like, they don't have, they will just be living, eat, drink, and be merry. So that is why Bhagavan is saying, Mohinim Shritaha, they are deluded. Mohini here is delusion, wrong thinking. Delusion is wrong thinking. So because of this nature of theirs, because of predominance of rajas and predominance of tamas, they think that there is happiness, because happiness in the outside world. So get that happiness, I have to do more and more actions. And that's why then they're deluded, and therefore their actions are also in vain. The hope is also in vain, because no matter where they reach in the external world, they do not find that happiness, because no matter where you reach, then there is something about them. So that is what he's saying. But as opposed to these, the Mahatmas, those who are predominantly sattvic. So that is the takeaway for between these two. Is like, if, yes, I have rajas and tamas, because all of us have all three. How do I increase the sattva and reduce rajas and tamas? So increasing sattva is just to see if there is very salty water, there's a glass of water and there is, it's very salty. Now, how do I reduce it? By pouring more pure water, right? In that glass, if I pour a whole gallon of pure fresh water, then that salt is not going to taste as much. So the salt is the impurity. Salt is rajas and tamas. And then that sattva is there, and now it is tasting very, very, we are still rajasic and tamasic. So you add more sattva to it. Adding sattva means making the mind more and more sattva. So Mahatma nastu mam partha, to oppose, but those who are Mahatmas, Partha, the one who is searching for Parmeshwar, Pa and Artha, searching the meaning, that's what it means here. Daivim prakriti mashrayatyaha. Daivi prakriti is sattvic prakriti. Okay, those ones, they in their mind, they do my bhajan, they remember me, Nyatva bhutadi mavyam. So they come to, they worship me, and then they come to know me as the source of all beings. This is how they come to know, because of their sattvic nature, because they have developed more and more sattva. Just this morning in the Bhaja Govindam class also we heard, how do I get that vairagya? That's the same thing. A sattvic mind will be more dispassionate. So it's exactly the same thing there. Now, some of you were there. See, there what Bhagavan said, at the level, we have got three means: body, mind, intellect. So at the level of the intellect, study Bhagavad Gita or study any scriptural text. At the level of the mind, have faith and devotion. And then at the level of the body, you do puja or karma yoga. So that's the same thing. How do I develop this sattva? Is these three, the same method is there. How do I develop a Daivi Prakriti? I am Rakshasim, I am Asurim right now. So how do I develop? Is by doing these three things, because these are the three instruments that I have. Okay. And then we were on 14. So we said Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatatancha. So Dhradavrataha, those who are of firm resolution. Suppose if now I've made a firm resolution that I do want to increase sattva in my mind, then I'm striving towards it. I have to stay. It is a difficult path. So there is a lot of hard work that is required. Hard work, not physical work, mental, like I said, mental penance is more important than the physical penance. That physical penance is not that much important. It is important to a certain extent to develop titiksha, patience, but not that much. So what they do is they constantly do my kirtan, namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Nitya, ever joined with me. Nitya yukta is one who is ever joined with me, means ever thinking of me. They pray to me. Now, how do I do this 24/7? See, we have 4 paths here, okay, which is one is first is Jnana Marga. path of knowledge. Then there is a path of devotion. Then there is a path of karma. Karma yoga is there. And then there is hatha yoga. So these are the 4 paths that will be that are recommended or prescribed by the scriptures to reach this moksha. So if there is a person who is following Jnana Marga, then what will be the kind of bhajan or kirtan that he will do? Satatam. This word satatam is also important. Satatam means continuously. So it is absolutely not possible for anyone even to just 24/7 sit and sing bhajans. So Bhagwan is not going to tell us something which is impossible. That is not possible. Even the realized master has to, at some point, he has to sleep, he has to, maybe talk to people, he has to eat, he has to drink, he has to bathe. So even for him, it is not possible, let alone possible for us. So the Jnanam, the way to be Satatam, doing Satatam Kirtan to Bhagwan, the Jnanam, Jnani, the one who is following the path of knowledge, constantly remembering that the self in me is the self in all. That remembrance, just that remembrance is a satatam kirtayantu mam. That is what it is. So if he sings bhajan, there are bhajans like this, Khelati mama hriday Shri Ram. There are these high level in the sense subtle bhajans. So the constant remembrance that Shri Ram is only within me, just the remembrance, that is what the Jnani, that is bhajan for him. When he is told, do constant bhajan, all of us are being told, Satatam, because this Mahatma, Sattvic person is doing Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Okay, he's doing that. So where do I stand? I cannot sit and sing bhajans whole day. Not possible. If I'm following the path of knowledge, then remember that what this Lord is within me. And whatever is within me, the self in me is the self in all. The bhakta, if he's a devotee, then what he says in bhakti, what it is, you're the master, I'm the servant, or there's a relationship, there's duality. He says, Main patita tu pavana, means I am fallen, now you lift me up. That is what he will say. Bhakta will always say, Jnani will say, there is oneness, we are one. Bhakta will say, no, you are separate, I am separate, but I surrender to you completely. So that is what the Bhakta will say. The one who is following karma marga will constantly try to do karma yoga. That becomes bhajan for a karma yogi. So if I am more heart and head oriented, if I'm more rajasic, if I have predominance of rajas, if I have this thing, what should I do next? What should I do next? Then all that doing should be done as karma yoga. And if it is done as karma yoga, then it becomes satatam kirtayanto mam. Then it is constant bhajan. That he did not take the name of the Lord. He need not sit and sing bhajans. But every action that he's doing is without doership and enjoyship. And that means he is recognizing, he is trying to go towards the Lord. Hatha yoga is constantly rising above the gunas. So, because that is what Hatha yoga is. So sattva, rajas, and tamas, there are these 3 gunas, and I need to rise above them, go beyond them. And when these things are followed by these 4 types of people, or there are these 4 paths that various people can follow depending on their own. If you're head oriented, it is Jnana Marga for you. If you're heart oriented, then Bhakti Marga is for you. And if you are balanced in both heart and head, then it's Karma Yoga. Karma yoga is to be followed. And if you're neither, I don't have the intellect, nor do I have the bhakti, then I follow my body. So hatha yoga, because these are asanas are there, right? Yoga asanas are there. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras tells that. So there he says, chitta vritti nirodha yogaha. So what they're doing in hatha yoga mainly is to control the mind. And control of the mind is control of the gunas. Because the mind is sattva, rajas, tamas, right? So the mind is like dynamic. Where there's predominance of rajas, it'll be dynamic. What should I do? What should I do? Tamas, then tomorrow I'll do it tomorrow. Let me just take rest now. This. And if there's predominance of sattva, then they go for knowledge. Okay, so the mind is at the gunas are at that level, and the Hatha Yogi will try to conquer the mind itself. That is what he will do. That's where we had completed. So now we go to 15. Jnana yadnena chapyanne yajanto mamupasate ekatvena prithaktvena bahuda vishvato mukham. Others, also offering the wisdom sacrifice, worship me, regarding me as one, as distinct, as manifold me, who in all forms faces up everywhere. So what he's saying is there are those people who are of, those who are of Rajasic and Asuri tendencies, they disregard me. They don't know, they don't recognize my presence among all beings. That is one type of people. But as opposed to them, there are the Mahatmas who are predominantly Sattvic. And then what do? They are of firm resolve. So they do Satatam Kirtayantoma. So they are doing constant bhajan, my bhajan they're doing. And I told you bhajan doesn't mean that. So depending on where you are, constant remembrance of the oneness or constant remembrance of the fact that I am your servant and I'm the fallen one and you can this thing, or doing karma yoga, or then doing hatha yoga, controlling the mind. But there are others who, there are three types of people who are doing upasana. I told you in this whole, in the beginning, that what types of upasanas also Bhagavan will say. So here he says they are offering wisdom sacrifice is this is like the jnana yajna that we do, where the ignorance is offered into the fire of knowledge. Okay, so there are these people regarding me as one, ekatvena. Ekatvena is what? Regarding me as one with what? One with themselves. This Lord is nothing but one with me. So, and when I practice that, what I'm doing is, in the fire of that knowledge, I'm offering my ignorance. What was the ignorance? I'm the body, mind, and intellect. I'm different from God. That was the ignorance. So there are these people, there are some people who worship me regarding me as one with them. Not only that all the deities are one, forget that, but that Lord is just one with me. And then as distinct. So as distinct means he's different. So this is bhaktas, where they consider that God is different. Okay, or this is also Advaita Vedanta. Ekatvena is Advaita. Different from me is this thing, Dvaita. And then manifold me. Manifold me is Dvaita, and distinct is I'm a part of them. So Vishishta Advaita. These are the three schools that we have. We have the Dvaita school, which considers that I am a child of God. All of us are children of God. So all of us are brothers and sisters. This is the Brahma Kumari's philosophy, which is fine. That is nothing wrong with that, because you are establishing that there is a God. He is all powerful and he is our father. So which means that we should be, if we are all brothers and sisters, we should be kind to each other, right? Compassionate towards each other. There should be no fighting. There should be no competition. We are all siblings of the same father. And then there is distinct. So uh, distinct but part. I'm a part of the Lord, which is Vishishta Advaita. And then there is this Ekatvena. So Ekatvena, Prathatvena, and then there is Bahuda Vishwato, this Vishwato Mukha, manifold me, forms of faces everywhere, means everywhere it is me alone. Okay, these are, all these three belong to predominance of Sattva. There cannot be Tamas and Rajas in this. That's why we have coined, Gurudev has coined the word yajna, right? We have this yajnas that we do that is offering ignorance in the fire of knowledge. Knowledge and bhakti, and then karma yoga. Now, here, next. What he's saying is, aham kraturaham yajnyaha swadahamaha ushadam mantroham hamave mantroham mantroham aham Ahamevajam, aham agniraham hutam. I am the kratu, I am the sacrifice, I am the offering food to the pitris or ancestors. I am the medicinal herb and all plants. I am the mantra. I am also the clarified butter. I am the fire. I am the oblation. See, this is a repetition of the verse 24 in chapter 4. And the way that verse went was, which we chant before meals, Om Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanautam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So there what he said was that there is a yajna going on. What is the yajna? Imagine there is fire, then the ghee is being put into the fire, or some offerings are made into the fire. The ladle is there to offer the ghee into there. Then the person is there sitting, yajman, who is offering. So there he says, the fire is me. The ghee that is being offered is me. The ladle that is offering that ghee is also me. And the one who is actually doing all this also me only. Okay, so that is jnana, that is direct knowledge. It is not bhakti. It is not a superimposition of Lord on the ladle. Bhagwan is saying, I am the ladle, I am the ghee, I am the person, and I am the fire as well. And I am the yajna. So everything is me alone. That same idea he's repeating here. Everything is me. It is not like me, or it is not a superimposition on me. This is not bhakti. This is knowledge. Okay. So aham kratuhu, aham yajnaha. Kratu is the one doer. So it's not only in the form of yajna, but everything that we do in our outside life. Who am I? Who is this doer? Bhagavan says, I am the doer. So what is he telling us? That there is oneness between Jiva and me. Because what I think I am doing something. Now I think I'm speaking. So Bhagavan here, this particular situation, Bhagavan is saying that no, the one who is speaking is me only. So aham kratuhu, the doer, kratu coming from karma, kratu, karma, right? Kratu, doer. Aham yajnaha. So this satsang that is going on is me. There, because this is in the Vedic period, they would do yajnas. We don't do any fire ritual anymore, if it was. So that is the, what is this yajna here? Right now, yajna is going on. What yajna is going on? We are offering our ignorance in the fire of knowledge. That is the yajna that is actually going on right here, right now. So that yajna, he is saying, aham yajna. Swadaham aushadam. This aushadi word, aushada in Marathi or Hindi means medicine. But in Sanskrit, it actually means all food, because food is considered as medicine for the disease of hunger that human beings or animals feel. And we have seen that in Sadhana Panchakam also, those who have been in the fundamentals class. Bhagavan said that food should be taken as medicine. So there is no, do we take extra? I like this antibiotic, so let me just take a few more days. Do we take more than the dose? It said 1 per day means 1 per day only, or 2 per day only. Do we eat 3-4 times? I like it. We don't. So that's why aushadhi word, which will come again in chapter 15, in Sanskrit, it means food. So whatever that food that you're offering, in this is the typical yajna, where food means we'll offer grains, we offer some sticks of wood, ghee, all that he says is me. Mantra, the mantras that are chanted. So here, the speech that is coming out is me only. The words are me. Everything is me. This is what he means here. Aham, mantraha aham. Aham ajya. This is aham eva ajya. Aham eva. Ajya is ghee. Ghee. In the yajna, when we offer, there's no ghee here, but in the yajna, actual yajna, we would be offering ghee with the ladle. So that ghee says, that is me. Aham agnihi, you're offering it into the fire. Yajna is always into the fire. I am only that fire. And aham hutam, the sacrifice, the offering, whatever that is being offered, everything is me. This is what Bhagavan is saying. This is the vision of when there is predominance of sattva, this vision will be very easy. When there is predominance of rajas, what will be the vision? I am the one that is doing, and this is different. And I am doing all this because I want to get something in return. I want something in return. That'll be the Rajasic attitude. But the Sattvic attitude is whatever that I do is a that I was able to do. You know, in this very simple form, let me tell you, which I've always told you many, many times, if we can do anything in life now, remember God. That was only because of him that I could do this. That will fulfill this verse. It's not that we have to constantly remember. If we can acknowledge God in everything, thank you, Lord. It's because of you that I could help. It's because of you that, then we have automatically done this verse or understood this verse correctly. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. I am everything. I am not, this is not everything is in me, superimposed. No, 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 no. I am, it is me alone. There is, means what? There's nothing other than me. In this world, there is nothing other than me. I alone exist. Everything else then becomes an illusion. Because if it's the only real thing, that is what he's saying. Okay, so there are these 8 things that he's saying. Kratu who is the doer. Yajna is the yajna actual. Swadha, one which offers the oblation. So into it, the yajna actually swadha. Aushadam, the food that is being offered, or the grains, ghee, all that falls under that. The mantras that are chanted, you know, Gayatri, when the Gayatri Havan is done, then they chant the Gayatri mantra. So there are different mantras for different yajnas. We have this in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. The mantras are me, Ajag is ghee, and then there is Hutam, so the oblations. So everything is, this is very, very parallel to, you can listen to it or you can read that verse 24 of chapter 4. And that is the verse that we chant before meals. Om Brahmarpanam Brahmavi. So there, why meals? Because now that becomes an yajna. Meal means what is happening in the meal, in a food. That food I'm taking and I'm eating. So Bhagavan is saying that food is me. This hand is me, because with the hand I'm putting it into my mouth. Okay, then when it goes in, it gets digested. Who is digesting? Aham Vaishvanaro Bhava. I am only the digestive fire in your stomach. I am only digesting your food. So that is also an yajna. What is the yajna is when that is offering food into the fire of hunger. Because I'm hungry, I eat now. So that becomes an yajna too. So that's why we chant that verse before meals. Om Brahmarpanam, that verse is chanted. So this is a yajna. So what happens is when you superimpose the idea of yajna on that food, you will not overeat. You will not. Bhagwan is sitting inside digesting, so I should not overeat or put wrong things inside either in my stomach, because who is digesting it is Bhagwan is sitting inside there. So when you have that vision, and that is what this is what he's saying. He's saying everything is me alone. Okay. Now, Pita Hamasya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamahah Vedyam Pavitramokara Raksamaya Jurevacha. I am the father of this world, the mother's mother, supporter, and the grandsire, the one thing to be known, the purifier, the syllable Om, and also the Rik, the Sama, and the Yajus also. So Pitamaha, when he says Pitamaha means aham pita, I am the father. Already he has said that I am the father, and who is the mother? Prakriti. But who is Prakriti? That is me alone. So I'm the father and I am the mother, which means, what does it mean? And then he says I am the grandfather also, Pitamaha. So by saying Pitamaha, he is saying I am the causeless cause. There is no, because you say, okay, this is my father, then, okay, who is my grandfather, then who is my, so there are different people. But he's saying, I'm the father and I'm the grandfather. So that means he is only everything. So there is no cause. That means he is the causeless cause. That is what it means. And when he says Pita, then it means he is the Nimitta Karan. See, in creation, in this world, when we see anything being created, and the most common examples that are given in the scriptures is the pot. clay pot or gold ornament. So if you take the clay pot, then the material that goes into making the pot is the clay. So there is a material instrument. There is a material that is required. Then there is the wheel is there. So there is the material cause, which is the clay. The wheel is the instrumental cause. Instrument is required, right, to make that pot. And okay, there is the material and the wheel is there. So can a pot just come out of there? No, there has to be an intelligent cause. Nimitta karan has to be there. So the potter becomes the nimitta karana. So there are three causes that are required for any creation. So if you take gold ornament, then gold has to be there. The goldsmith has to be there, the person, the intelligent cause. And then, of course, the tools, the fire to melt the gold or whatever, the little tools that he requires. So there are these three things. Now, in the creation of the world, the question is, are there three things? And that three things is now, because already Bhagavan in the previous verse said, there is me only. Now you are alone only. So, but you need three things to create something. So he says, by saying Aham Pita, he says, I am the intelligent cause, the Nimitta Karan. So I am the potter or I am the goldsmith. And then by saying Mata, that's Prakriti. And Prakriti is the material cause. Because she has got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, I told you. What is the material that went into this world is the 5 elements. And how did the 5 elements come about is from Prakriti. So she becomes the material cause. By saying mother, it is the material. So what he's saying is, I am only the intelligent cause and I am only the material cause and I don't need any instruments. Prakriti, the instruments are within her. The gunas are her instruments. So there is not a separate wheel like the potter's wheel, or there is not a separate little tools with which the ornaments are made. There is gold, there is the material, and then there is the efficient cause and the material cause. Efficient cause is me, because he's saying I am the father, and Prakriti, Mata, mother, she is the material cause, because she has that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, which is what is actually giving rise to all this entire creation. That is what he means. And then Vedyam Pavitram Omkara, I am known as Om, which we have seen. Oma, 3 syllables, 3 alphabets, which represent the entire gamut of alphabets. Okay, so any name in this world falls only, if it were to take the English language, it falls only within the gamut of A to Z. 26 alphabets, and A, O, and Ma represent the vowels and the consonants. A, O, Ma represents the 26 alphabets. So whatever name that you see in this world, it has a form. Obviously, the form is there first, and then the name comes. So that name is me. That means the form is also me only. And I am Om. So everything comes there. The other aspect of this Om is the O, and Ma are uttered from the 3 points in our mouth. So throat is there, the palate is there, and the lips are there. So these comes from the throat, O comes from the palate, and then Ma comes from the lips. So any sound that is uttered in this world is coming from these 3 points alone. The O, and Ma represent these 3 points. Therefore, any sound that is uttered, any form that you see, any name that you say, any name that you give any form is only coming from Om, and I am Om. So the names and forms are coming from me alone. That is not coming from me and me. They are me only. And the silence between the 2 Oms is the transcendental reality. That is me as well. This is what he says here. Vedyam Pavitram Omkara. Pavitram. Pavitra word, Pavitra means pure also, but Pavehe Trayate iti Pavihi. So Pavi, this Pavi is the thunderbolt of Indra. Indra's weapon it is, Pavi, thunderbolt. Okay. Now this thunderbolt is it's a very powerful weapon. And that weapon he has used he even hit Hanumanji when he was small. That's why Hanumanji has got a cleft in his chin. Okay. So People are afraid of the thunderbolt. People, because it's a weapon. I mean, so people are afraid. So that which protects you from the fear of that thunderbolt is pavitra. That's why he's saying, I'm pavitra, because I will protect you from that. I am capable of protecting. How now? Okay, how? Please let's understand this also point. How God will protect us from death? Thunderbolt is what? It would kill us. So if we recognize ourselves to be that eternal existence that he said in the previous one, there will be no fear of death. Death will be there to the body. Yeah? Don't ever think that, oh, if I pray to God, then I won't die. No, no, everybody will die. All of us are dying. We are standing in line. That also Bhagavan has only said. Everybody is standing in line. There are only two kinds of people in this world, those who are gone and those who are yet to go. So we are in the yet to go line. That's okay. But that fear, that will take. That's why this pavitra, why is this onkara pavitra? Because it will protect us from the fear of death. More than death, we are afraid, we fear the fear of death. That is what we fear. When will it come? What will happen? That sort of thoughts we have. So that's why pavitram onkaram. And then the Vedas are me. We have always seen Vedas are the breath of the gods. So that's why Vedas are eternal. Vedas are also birthless. Vedas are also deathless. What happens to the Vedas when the world dissolves, when pralaya happens? They just go back into the supreme reality. And when the creation happens, the Vedas also come back at that same time. So they don't have a date. They are the breath of the gods. They are the words of God. That's why they have to be followed. Whatever scriptures are saying, do's and don'ts. That's why in Taittiriya Upanishad we saw, he says, do karmas without blemish. What is a karma without blemish? Is whatever is said in the Vedas you do, it is without blemish. If it is said don't do or it is not in the Vedas, that means that karma has got blemish. And what does blemish mean? What does it mean, blemish? Means it is creating a birth for yourself, for you. So that's why those type of karma should be avoided. Okay. So here nimitta karana and then also dhata also he said. So sustainer. That's why we have the trinity. The Brahmaji, who is the creator, Vishnu is the sustainer, and then Shiva is the destroyer, and their consorts. So to create, Brahmaji needs knowledge. Therefore, Saraswati becomes the goddess of knowledge. Vishnu, to protect, to sustain this world, needs money. So Lakshmi becomes the goddess of wealth. And then Shivji, he needs Shakti. So Parvati becomes Shakti. That is the Trinity. That is how it is to be understood. Okay, I'm sure this is, some of you know this already, but just a revision and those who are not aware of this part. So not that we have three gods, okay? We don't have three gods. We don't have 33 crores of gods either. We have only one God, and he is the father and the grandfather, indicating no cause for him, indicating that he is the nimitta karana, the efficient cause. Example, potter or goldsmith, he's the efficient cause. And then mother, indicating that he is the material cause, because to create anything, we need material. So where is the material coming from? Apparently, there was a dialogue between the scientists and God once, it seems. And the scientists said that, you know what, we are now so expert in cloning and this and that and whatnot, we do. We really don't need you. You can take a holiday. You can take a break. God said, fine, let's just make a pot of clay and then I will take the holiday if you can make. They said, oh, that is so simple. So he started picking up the clay and God said, please bring your own clay. Please bring your own clay because this is mine. Right? So no matter how much science advances, you cannot rule out the presence of God, the hand of God. Please remember that. Especially the young people. They think we did and we got the what is God. No, everything. God has got everything to do with everything because he is everything. This is what he's saying here. So I'm the three. And when he says three, please, Atharva is included in that. Not like three Vedas is God and Atharva is something else. No, no, no. All four Vedas included. All right. Now, tapamyaham tapya tapamyahamaham varsham nigrunna no varsham nigranama Nigranya.
Jayati, you missed
Jayati,
out
I think
one.
you missed a verse.
You missed one verse.
Oh,
18.
sorry. 18. Thank you. Gati bharta prabhu sakshi nivasa sharanam surata prabhava pralaya sthanam nidhanam bijam avyayam. I am the goal, the supporter, the Lord, the witness, the abode, the shelter, the friend, the origin, the dissolution, the foundation, the treasure house, and the seed imperishable. So here, these are these different names for him. This similar verse will come in 13, where he gives different names for himself. So very simple point, which I've given you many times, it's me alone, but in front of my parents, I become a child, and in front of my children, I become a parent. So it's the same. Gati bharta, gati, bharta, gati path, gati bharta. So he is the goal, gati, and bharta is supporter. Gati is a result that we get after death. That is what gati is. Or gati is path also. Gati is speed also. Vega. It is velocity or speed also. But he is the supporter. Prabhu, who controller, Lord. Prabhu, Lord. There is Prabhu and there is Vibhu. Vibhu means one who has gone everywhere. So everything that you see in this world is him. Prabhu is also the Lord. Sakshi is the witness. So when this when the jiva, ourselves, he's called as Sakshi when there is something to be witnessed. In Brahman, there is actually nothing to be witnessed, because Brahman, pure consciousness, is one without a second. So there is no question of him being a Sakshi. Sakshi is there only when there is something to be witnessed. So when he calls himself Sakshi, he means that this Jiva, who is none other than me, is called Sakshi because this Jiva is now witnessing the body, mind, and intellect and witnessing the world. That is why this Sakshi word comes. Sakshat ikshate iti Sakshi. Sakshi means that which is directly witnessed. And we have this witness in court where they are asked to tell, what did you see? They are not supposed to pass any judgment on what they saw. They are only supposed to tell what they saw. So this Sakshi, this Jiva, becomes a Sakshi when the body, mind, and intellect are given reality. Because the mind, this Jiva who is residing in the intellect, who is a reflection of consciousness, is actually the one who knows that, oh, the body has now grown tall, grown fat, thin, mind is now happy or sad, intellect is very bright today, or intellect is not very bright today. That is the Sakshi part. So when there is something to be witnessed, this same pure consciousness is called as Sakshi. Nivasa, abode. I am the one, like space. This is like similar to space. Space is the abode for everything. Space is the abode for air. Space is the abode for fire, water, earth. Space is the abode for the house, for us, everything. So that way, consciousness is even subtler than space. So even space is being held in consciousness. So that is what he means by nivas. I am the abode. Everything rests in me alone. Just like every object in this world rests in space. Unless there is space, you can't have an object there. But space is never seen. It is only inferred that, okay, I can keep this object here. That means there must be space. So he says, so space is, I'm the abode for space, and everything else is the abode. Everything, all other objects have space as their abode, okay? So this is Nivasa. Sharanam, the shelter. So take shelter in me, surrender to me. Surata, friend. I am the Surata. Rita is coming, Hriday. So good-hearted. I'm a good-hearted person. So good-hearted person will always be our friend. We have seen a friend is one who helps us reach our goals, who helps us stay away from the wrong path. That is what I am. Because, when he's a Sakshi, it's like Surata here is our conscience. So our conscience is the one tells us, nah, don't say that, don't say that, that is not correct, don't do this, that is not correct. So he tells us, but sometimes we don't listen. We just do whatever we want to do. Prabhava, bhavu, to become Prabhava. So the origin. You already said that previously also. I am the origin of everything in this world. He actually said, I am only everything in this world. But from me it has come, because already he said, I am the efficient cause and I am the material cause. Pralaya. Pralaya, dissolution. So that's why there is nothing that gets destroyed in this world. What happens is it goes back uh, into him. Pralaya. So we have, see, every night we have pralaya only. There is four kinds of different kinds of pralaya. So one is this daily pralaya, every day there is a pralaya happening, because at the end of the day, when we are very tired and we fall asleep, all our mind, intellect, everything gets folded into the causal body. And then that is pralaya. Then there is pralaya when Brahmaji's day ends. That is, then one pralaya is when the when the person realizes. That also is a pralaya for that particular person. If this person realizes himself to be the supreme reality, that is the end of all future births for that person. So that becomes a pralaya for him. But normal pralaya is happening. Then there is death. That is also pralaya, physical death of the body. That is pralaya to that body, but it will come back. All these moksha, that pralaya never comes back. The other three come back. The fourth one is that day of Brahmaji, which we saw in chapter 8. So this, when Brahmaji's day ends and he falls asleep, the entire world gets merged into the supreme reality, and that is pralaya. That pralaya also, at the beginning of creation, it will reverse, it will come back. Then the sleep, we know every morning we wake up, so that pralaya ends. Then death also is not the complete end, because that jiva will go into the future next body. But this realization, that pralaya, when it happens, that is the only permanent pralaya that happens. So that person, when he realizes himself to be that supreme reality, never ever comes back into this world. So there's four types of pralaya that happens. All this is me alone, he says, because everything is going into him. Sthanam is sustenance. So there, sthanam, foundation, or sustenance, foundation of everything is me. I'm the substratum of everything. But Prabhava and Pralaya is there. So sthanam feels like sustenance. Anything you can take it, and you can take it as sustain, because on my foundation, all this thing is happening. It is like the screen of the movie theater. So the screen is saying, I am the sthanam. I am the one on which all this full reel is being shown now. So I am that. So this is what Bhagavan is saying here. Nidhanam, dhana, treasure. So I am the treasure house. Means I am the only one that should be sought after. Why, if there is a treasure, we'll go sought after, we'll go seek that treasure, right? So, and bijam avyayam. So now this seed, imperishable seed, should be understood correctly. See, in the normal world, we have a seed, we plant it in our garden or wherever, and once it sprouts, you can't go find that same seed again. That seed is destroyed. Seed destroys to give us the tree. So he's saying, but I am the seed, but I am imperishable. So, but seed gets perished, seed gets destroyed. So what he means is, I am that potentiality in the seed, which is always there. So he's not referring to like just one seed something, but that potential of creation which is there in me is imperishable. That potentiality never goes away. This is what he means when he says bijam avyayam, and the seed imperishable. Because if you take it just as an ordinary seed, it is not an ordinary seed. It will get destroyed. When creation happens, does Bhagwan get destroyed? No. How do we know that? Because the principle of existence, principle of consciousness, and principle of inertia, bliss, we see that in the world. How do I know that God is in this world? How do I know that? Because how do we say? We say this world is, this book is, this pen is, this computer is, this class is, I am, you are. So that is the principle of existence. I am and I know who I am. That is the principle of knowledge, consciousness. And bliss is my natural state. That's why no matter how deep we fall in sorrow, it might take a month, a year, 10 years, we will come back to that position of happiness. It is like water finds its own level, or no matter how much you heat water, it'll always come back to room temperature. Even if you keep it in the thermos, it might remain hot for 24 hours, but after that, it is going to come. So that way, we look at our own experiences, all the sorrows that we have gone through in this, in our own life. Do we have the same level of sorrow for those things? There is a time when the person comes. Now, how long it takes, that is the test of how much spiritually progressed we are. So when you feel sorrow, the realized master, one thing, even if he feels sorrow, he doesn't shake at all. So there is no question of him coming back into balance. He never loses his balance. Okay. The ignorant person they lose their balance, and then long time afterwards, after this thing, they come back into balance. But long time it takes. Okay. Very long time. Unreasonably long time. Unreasonably long time. A spiritual seeker has to resolve it in the mind as spiritual seekers, because we are studying Bhagavad Gita, we are studying all the texts. We need to be able to resolve that agitation in our mind alone based on the knowledge that we have gotten. Okay. And how fast we come back into that. And that is what he is saying, avyayam. See, so existence is imperishable. Knowledge is also imperishable. And this happiness also, we think that my happiness perished because today I got some sorrowful news or something happened. And now I'm sorry. Now happiness is not perished. It is there. It is now overcome by this sorrow. Now, how fast you come back into balance. And that's why that happiness also is imperishable. And that is what he means here. That bijam avyayam, that potential in me is I am imperishable. So the principle of existence, principle of consciousness, and principle of bliss is avyayam. It is imperishable. And we might think that, oh my God, I can never come out of this misery. Give it time. Time is the best healer. Give it time. You will come back. And look at your own life, our own life in the past. If we just take a glance at that life, then we'll come to know that, yeah, we went through sorrow, but then, yeah, I did regain my balance. The question is, how fast do I regain that balance? That is what tells us where we are on the spiritual path. There's a lot of people ask this question. How do I know that I'm progressing spiritually? So the quickest answer is, how much at peace are you in your mind? No matter what is happening outside, are you at peace? And okay, you do get agitated sometimes, then how fast do you come back? Can you resolve any kind of agitation based on the knowledge that you have gained, or do you have to go for counseling? Like I have my friends who they say they went for counseling, they went for this, that. This is counseling for us. We should not be needing some external counselor to tell, because Vedas, Bhagavad Gita is the best. Bhagwan himself is counseling. If we can't follow what Bhagwan is saying, what will we follow that other person is telling us? So is this counseling working? Can I remember the teachings? Can I come out of my agitation as fast as possible? Any questions? Anyway, those who are from Vancouver, it might be a repeat, but Swami Shantananji is coming this year. Please note down the dates. July 7th to the 13th, he will be doing selected verses from the Bhagavad Gita at the Hindu temple in Burnaby, and we will make a booklet. So no need to bring your full Gita, or don't worry about it. He has sent us the verses that he'll be doing. It'll be an overview of the entire Gita, which will be fantastic. So we will make the little booklet and we will give them at the yajna. So please remember the dates, 7th to 13th of July. Okay. All right. Om swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyaha prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayaha सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम।